Jake-Odorizzi goes to the IL with a blister on his throwing hand. That's the Minnesota Twins. They don't expect him to lose more than a start, but who knows with that.
Blisters are pesky.
Yeah.
Ask any major league pitcher, they'll tell you.
Former Red Sox infielder Johnny was pesky also.
Yes, he was.
Johnny Pesky.
Got to interview him. It was awesome.
Did you really?
Yes.
All right, this season, 17 games for Odorizzi. I always think of, I'll have 2 eggs over easy, please.
Wow.
88 2/3 innings, 10-4 record, 3.15 ERA, 96 strikeouts, 30 walks, and the opponent's average 2.14, which is awfully good. And their pitching is not that deep either. I don't know if they can afford to lose him for more than a game.
Odorizzi and Martin Perez have really carried the water for that staff. And, our buddy Jensen Lewis has said along the way here, the Twins have not faced real adversity yet. Now, they were without Cruz for an a decent amount of time, several weeks. But, they have not been hit by anywhere near what the injuries the Indians have been hit with. So we'll see how they handle this and how they handle being front runners. But I thought a couple of weeks ago they might be leading the division by 12, 13 games. Yeah. And now it's 7.
Let's see if they could coast in. They're not coasting.
The weird part about baseball, Les, is those 2 games in Baltimore. It was like aliens infected the Indians' clubhouse and the Indians' bodies.
You're playing great ball.
How that happened?
You go on the road and go 13-0 and 13-0. I thought the Plain Dealer had a great headline the second day, and it said, "No, you're not reading yesterday's paper. It happened again."
I mean,
what an odd number.
Les, they were playing well, and don't give me this, they had an off day. Oh, please. Plenty of teams that have been hot have an off day and stay hot, okay? They play well, they have an off day, they go to Baltimore, or they're in Baltimore on their off day, play the worst team in the league. Not me saying it, not you saying it, the record says it. Home runs flying out of Camden Yards by the opposition. The Indians go 0-0 and 2 runs in the series. Thank goodness for Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
I said, Les, on the radio show the other day, TM, we may look back at that Shane Bieber start on Sunday as a watershed moment in this season. If the Indians wind up, track. Because you get swept by the Orioles, let's say Bieber has an okay start, gives up 3 runs in 5 innings. They lose, right?
Yep.
You get swept by the Orioles, who knows what happens? You may have your dauber so far down that you're not ready to play Kansas City. But that win on Sunday was enormous psychologically.
No question about it. You know what I've seen? I've seen it with the Indians. I saw it with Kansas City last night. Teams are throwing the ball all over the field. You've got the base running that's atrocious. You had a guy, they're down by 3 runs for Kansas City, and there's a horrible throw from center field from Mercado, and Ramirez made a nice play on it. But guys trying to score when they're down by 3 and nobody out in the inning.
Les, I'm not trying to make excuses. This may sound like an excuse. It's not. It's just based in reality. When you play a game that is so geared towards swinging for the fences, home runs, walks, strikeouts.
You're going to tell me they forget the other stuff?
I'm not saying they forget it, but it's not as prevalent in their conscious mind. So that when they get on the bases, they're not used to this.
If you're down by 3 and the ball is being thrown all over the place, Mercado throws it down the left field line and Ramirez has to change it. Unless you can walk home, you shouldn't be trying to score.
Agreed.
You should never be the first out at home plate.
Right,
never,
that's why I'm not excusing base running blunders again. But I'm saying if you haven't been in a run and stun, constant movement on the bases mode, then maybe it's a little more difficult when you have to think it through.
Maybe difficult, but it's got to be done the right way.
Right.
All right, so if Odorizzi's out for a little bit, the Indians' success still lies in what it's lied in all year, and that's Jose-Ramirez as well as Jason-Kipnis. Yeah. Looks like they're starting to come out of it. I don't know at what point do you say that they are out of it, but here's Ramirez. In the team, look at this. In the team wins 46 games versus 35, hitting .230 when they win and 198 when they lose, 5 homers against 0 homers, 28 RBIs against 3, and 14 stolen bases against 4. How do you justify this? These are unbelievable numbers.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, what we've said all along is that, of course, you need Santana and Lindor, no secret. But the two guys that really must play well for the Indians to realize their dreams are Kipnis and Ramirez.
Well, here's Kipnis. Look at this: 35 wins, 29 losses, hitting .280 in the wins, 196 in the losses, 6 homers when they win, 0 when they lose, 28. Look, this is crazy. 28 RBIs versus 3 and 18 runs scored versus 4.
Yeah.
What is that?
You know, some people look at that and say, "Oh, what does he do? Only hit when they win?" No, he doesn't know they're going to win the game when he's getting hits.
True.
It simply means that the Indians have a better chance of winning when Ramirez and Kipnis are hitting.
That's true.
And sometimes it goes for other guys more than their teammate. You know, and certainly in the case of Kipnis.
Well, the difference is Kipnis was, until Mercado came along, he was the second batter, and Ramirez was the third for the most part.
Yes, and I'll say this about last night. Granted, it's Royals pitching, all right? But I liked what I was seeing from jake-bauers going the other way, the willingness to go the other way. Because if these guys start to think, you know what, just give me a knock against the shifted defense.
Then they'll have to take it away. They'll have to take the shift away.
Again, I know it's not a singles game anymore.
It's so simple. If you take the shift away, that gives you a hole where you normally hit the ball.
I've said this about Jose-Ramirez. I know Frankie Lindor wanted him to hit homers to get out of his slump. He says, well, Ramirez could hit singles in his sleep. Please do.
Start going to sleep.
Jose-Ramirez has the speed to turn the single into a double.
Correct.
I want Jose-Ramirez in scoring position instead of in the dugout.